Peace, power, and prosperity, family. How we doing today? Y'all already know what time it is. This is the Bitcoin Block Bully coming to you once again with the early rise of crypto update. It is August 19th, 2019, and we are currently recording New Money Matrix podcast as well as a visual for the Bit Patreon page. Um, the discussion for today is going to be over what is cDai. Now, those that have not yet integrated into the decentralized finance way of life may not know of the current asset that we're going to go over, but anybody that has dived in and has utilized may be utilizing specifically the compound finance protocol, money market protocol. You may or may not know that since the conversion from version 1 over to version 2, anytime you deposit the stable assets, DAI specifically, you receive cDai in exchange. And it is the cDai that grows as the interest accrues and is exchanged back over for DAI when you withdraw that original deposit. But with the value of the cDai increasing along with the interest, it takes less cDai to give back in order to retrieve the original assets that were locked in. So it's a real interesting project, interesting asset, an interesting new cryptocurrency. And we're going to go through and break down its function and the capabilities and possibly the future of it. Also, at the end, we'll be taking, for those that will be able to watch the visual, we'll be taking a visual look at actual cDai that it has accrued in a account, compound finance account. So this article available on DeFiPost.com/blog/ what is cDai, and it was released June 20th of 2019. As this is a new add-on or a um new player to the party in the world of not only blockchain and cryptocurrency, but decentralization of the financial world. It goes on to state, cDai is like an instant DAI savings account. Lending is one of the most popular ways in DeFi to earn interest. But did you know it just got easier than ever? As you may know, Compound, a money market protocol, allows you to earn a variable interest rate in return for supplying token to other users can borrow. The protocol recently upgraded to version 2, which includes a big development that everyone's talking about, those that are within the know, that is. The addition of compound tokens, or C tokens, including cDai, cETH, and more. Previously, Compound used a single smart contract for all assets. With the upgrade, each token on Compound has its own contract called an asset gateway. Now, that's a big deal because now you can deposit tokens into Compound. You get your C tokens, which is an ERC20 token that represents your lending or supply balance and the interest it has accrued. So, how does this work exactly? We're going to go through an example. Previously in Compound version 1, the interest you earned was simply added to your account balance and it remained in Compound. However, now when you supply DAI to Compound in version 2, you'll receive cDai in exchange, even though on the front end in the back office, it will actually show that you have DAI in your account accruing and adding interest. Now, the exchange rate began at 50 cDai for every one DAI. And as interest accrues in the market, each cDai will be worth more DAI. The idea is that your interest accrues. You'll need less C tokens to redeem your underlying asset, right? Meaning that as the price or value of the cDai raises, if originally it was one DAI to every 50 cDai, and then when you go to turn back into cDai, it is now 75 cDai for every 1 DAI, right? You only owe that original of the 50. In other words, the exchange rate between DAI and cDai grows proportionally with the interest rate. What makes cDai so awesome? The simple answer is that by designing C tokens as ERC20 tokens, Compound has opened up a whole new world of functionality and liquidity. All the assets that used to stay locked away in Compound are now free to move about the ecosystem and ready to be utilized for other purposes. You can transfer, trade, or send C tokens to cold storage. Just like any other. In fact, before I go on, let me reverse and go over the example that I gave because I actually gave it backwards. If at the time of exchange, because I think I said 50 to 75, so I caught myself in my mind. I was playing it back like, nah, that was incorrect. At the time of exchange, it is 50 cDai for every 1 DAI, and then at the time that you want to get your tokens out of the Compound Finance platform, and it is now 45 cDai for every 1 DAI. You now have 5 cDai that is yours to keep on the side. So excuse me. As the value increases, it takes less cDai to exchange that for that 1 DAI. Let me continue. All the assets that used to stay locked away in Compound. Excuse me. What makes cDai so awesome? The simple answer is that by designing C tokens as ERC20 tokens, Compound has opened up a whole new world of functionality and liquidity. All the assets that used to stay locked away in Compound are now free to move about the ecosystem and are ready to be utilized for other purposes. You can transfer, trade, or send C tokens to your cold storage, just like any other token on Ethereum. In fact, you can even integrate them into other protocols. That is, any protocol where you can lock tokens could choose to accept any C token, meaning you'd have to actually put the word out and probably start a vote and get the project knowledgeable of what the C tokens are and look at the value of them. Now, this would allow you to earn interest on top of the benefits that the protocol already gives you. Showcasing DeFi's composability. The perfect example of this new interoperability is the Uniswap DAI to cDai liquidity pool. Users and smart contracts can swap their DAI or any token for that matter into C tokens to take advantage of the compound's interest-based exchange rate. Compared to simply holding DAI, pooling cDai, meaning taking an amount of your holdings and allowing them to be used in a liquidity pool, it allows you to earn your interest while also exposing you to trading fees on Uniswap. And they're actually saying that you can try it now. So start earning interest by swapping any tokens for cDai in seconds, also with cDai.io. So they have the Uniswap. Let's see. Let's go over to the Uniswap page. And what we're looking at is DeFi. DeFi post looking at the Uniswap app or protocol. Total value locked in within the last 24 hours. Right now we got 17.2 million in USD locked in to Uniswap, and in the last 24 hours that actually went up 4%. In Ethereum, there's 85.9 thousand Ethereum, and that went down 0.2% within the last 24. In Bitcoin, 1.6K Bitcoin is in here, and that went up 1.4%. Now, Ethereum locked in, there's over 43K Ethereum locked in, and in the last 24 hours, it took a loss of 602 Ethereum. Supply locked 0.04%. The blockchain that is built on is Ethereum, and the most locked is ETH. Now, if we go to the actual Uniswap platform, for those that will be watching and be able to look in at the visual, what I'm going to do, and for those that are listening in, you can check out the swap on Uniswap. That's UNISWAP .exchange EXCHANGE /swap SWAP. And once you get here, you get the option to swap, send, or pool. Now, The majority of these DeFi projects are in the beta mode. So always understand that there is a huge risk at a loss of fund or assets to using them. Let me not say a huge risk, but there is a risk. Today I've never had a problem. Once again, today I personally have never had a problem. So we can see the amount we want. Let's see. Let's look for cDai. Here it is, compound DAI. So right now, one Ethereum will get you 9,723 cDai. The current pool size is 639 Ethereum for a total of 6,214,106.381 cDai. And you would have to connect your MetaMask or Web3 bridge integrator in order to interact with this platform. Let's head over to cDai. Right now, as the rates look, current rate is 11.63% APR. This is cDai.io, cDai.io. You can buy or sell. Right now, you pay one DAI for 48.38 cDai. And they say the best price found is actually on Uniswap. So, interesting developments with cDai. What we're going to do now is head over to an Instadap account that is currently earning interest live. For those that will be able to see the visual, for those that don't, I'll speak on what we're looking at. This is the learn and earn portion of the Instadap, which is also in beta banking platform. Right now, we're looking at a total DAI savings bank account of $971 DAI, 971.75 DAI. The Lin APR right now, which is annual percentage rate, is 11.63%. Earned all time in DAI is 7.7504 DAI. And you can see that we have a live earning right now, 0.00345 6, so 0.0037 and growing. Live earning of all-time users right now is 13.6 DAI. If we head over to compound/ROI dot hero KUAPP.com, you're able to actually look at the net position today. What it's showing us is a breakdown of the portfolio of the DAI savings account. It shows the net position today, which is $977.57. The net position at the initial price was $966.89. And to keep in mind also that this is in USD as opposed to DAI, which is, even though pegged to the dollar, does have a slight slippage or price difference of a couple percent, but once multiplied by the 10s to 20s to 50s to 100s, it actually gives you either more or less of a dollar equivalent. Right now, it shows that the profit or loss is $10.68. If we scroll down, we can also see the same stats of the DAI stablecoin. The value today of 977.57. The value when invested 966.89. The DAI versus USD peg today is 1.006. The DAI to USD average is 1.0029. Net ROI, which is the net return of your investment in DAI on Compound, it is the sum of the return due to the price variation or the price change and the return attributable to Compound, i.e. the interest earned in interest. So one thing you have to comprehend about utilizing this platform is that you have a price change, which is the price variation of DAI against the USD, and this is the return or loss you would have had if just hodling the DAI stablecoin. And right now is a gain of 0.29%. But you also have the interest accrued. on your investment. And this is the return directly attributable to compound, and that is 0.8%. So that gives you an overall net return of 1.10%. And the way to look at this for those that invest in other cryptocurrencies, we'll use Bitcoin as an example. When you are accumulating more Bitcoin as the price goes up, you have to be able to add the price variation as well as the added on cryptocurrency that you gain to get your full exposure or your full profit. Meaning, how much more Bitcoin did I gain plus how much did Bitcoin itself gain in value? Now, when we look at the DAI that was invested in, which is your initial investment positions in DAI, at the time when you invested, it is 963.99999 in DAI. The DAI accrued in interest so far, which is the amount of DAI you earned via compound accruing interest, is 7.74476. The DAI amount right now, which is your current investment position in DAI, and this is equal to the initial position plus the accrued interest, is 971.74476 in DAI. And the current balance of C tokens, this is the amount of cDai that this account currently owns, is 47,166.76847. And that is the focus of the amount of cDais that we're actually gaining right now. And as I said, the amount with this account is 47,166 and some odd change. So when the conversion is done and this individual, excuse me, this individual decides to exchange the cDai back for DAI and withdraw their DAI, they will have a remaining balance of cDai tokens also available to them that they can utilize in any way that they seem fit that is applicable and optionable to the cDai token itself. Now, before we end this, we're going to take a look actually at a new form of DAI called xDai. And this article was released June 4th, excuse me, and it's entitled, What is xDai? How do I use xDai? And this is just a simple explanation. And this is just to show that the many advancements that are coming in this space. And also the fact that many of us, instead of, taking advantage of and actually being able to implement our own and create our own, we are once again just the users of individuals that are creating their own future within this new money matrix. Goes on to state, xDai is a cryptocurrency that is pegged to the US dollar, has super low transaction fees, and fast transaction times. These features make it an ideal cryptocurrency to use for everyday transactions, like retail stores or peer-to-peer transfers. What do you mean by pegged to the US dollar? Well, they go on to state the xDai is a derivative of the DAI cryptocurrency, hence the xDai name. DAI is a cryptocurrency stablecoin that is pegged to the US dollar. A stablecoin is a cryptocurrency pegged to another stable asset. What this means is that DAI, and therefore xDai, is supposed to have a value that is as near as possible one DAI equal to one USD. You can read more about how that works, and they have a link. The main point behind stablecoins is to allow people to transact with cryptocurrency without being subject to the volatility of most cryptocurrency prices, meaning to keep your cryptocurrency at a stable value. That way, in exchanging it to another individual, they do not have to worry about loss or value of the item or goods that it was exchanged for. And that was my own added commentary. What do you mean by super low transaction fees? The cost to perform a transaction, which is send xDai to someone, is about 0.000021 USD. And that's about 21 thousandths of 1 penny per transaction. Wow. In other words, you can do about 500 transactions for 1 penny, 476 to be exact. And it doesn't matter the size of the transaction, one xDai or 100,000 xDai. Contrast this with what it costs to send money in the normal USD or Euro financial world. 3 to 5% merchant fees, or upwards of 8% for international transfers, or even a typical Ethereum cryptocurrency transaction, which costs about 15 cent USD. Now, what do you mean by fast transaction time? Transactions on the xDai blockchain occur within 5 seconds. What this means is that if you send someone xDai, they will receive it in their wallet in about 5 seconds or less. Contrast this with the time it takes to send money in the normal USD or Euro financial world. And credit card transactions take about 48 hours to a week for merchants to receive, and international transfers can take days. Or even a typical Ethereum cryptocurrency transaction, which can take about 1 to 3 minutes, still beating traditional. Why use xDai and why not just use DAI? Well, that's a great question. And simply, the transaction fees and transaction speed. Transaction fees for xDai, which is about 21 thousandths of a penny, of USD versus DAI, which is about 15 cents. The transaction speed for DAI or xDai is about 5 seconds versus DAI being about 1 to 3 minutes. The reason for the difference is because DAI is on the Ethereum mainnet blockchain, so its fees and speed are dependent on that. But when does this really start to matter? Well, let's imagine if you did 10 transactions a week for a month. That's 4 weeks at five DAI each. The fee difference would be 0.00084 with xDai versus $6 with DAI. Now imagine you live in a country where the national currency is experiencing 55% annual inflation rate year after year. Using cryptocurrencies can be extremely helpful. How do I get xDai? Sadly, it's not easy, or at least not easy enough. First, you have to exchange fiat money for DAI, exchange DAI for xDai. Now, one of the easiest ways found to do this is to use Coinbase to exchange USD for DAI, and then transfer that DAI to a DEX wallet mobile app. Inside that DEX wallet, you can exchange DAI for xDai. You can also skip the hassle-free creating the hassle, of creating a Coinbase account and use Changelly or Wire, but the fees are much higher. xDai can be sent or received very easily with the Dex Wallet mobile app or the new Pokito X Wallet mobile app. And that is Poketto. And the Dex Wallet is DEX Wallet. Both of these are iOS iPhone only. So if you that means they're not open to Android as of right now. Pokito itself builds itself as a wallet you can actually show to your parents, and it's simple, super simple to use. It is in beta right now. Um, so we're hoping for the full release soon. Also, DAI can be exchanged for xDai and the reverse right inside the Dex Wallet app. In the app, choose your Ethereum wallet, click the apps on the bottom, and then the xDai bridge. It is called a bridge because you can exchange DAI for xDai, and the blockchain puts the DAI you exchange in a pooled account and gives you xDai. I'm telling you, these pooled accounts are the new banks, the new liquidity pools, the new Federal Reserve. Then, when you go back the other way, it takes your xDai and gives you DAI out of that common pool. And they're asking, are there any examples of xDai being or is it being used more than on peer-to-peer basis? And they're saying the burner wallet, a temporary use in browser xDai wallet developed by Austin Griffin, was used with great success in conferences Denver, February 2019, and in New York, May of 2019. So I'll be checking that out, the burner wallet. I'll be checking, doing a little background, doing my due diligence and more research into the xDai, and keeping the family and the community updated on any implementations that come our way. So I hope that this was helpful to the listener. It is now going on 8:07 a.m. Central Chicago time. Until the next video, until the next podcast. This is the Bitcoin Block Bully. Peace, power, and prosperity. I'm out here, family.